and so that you can see why I actually like this one.
You said that last time too.
Yep.
So let's see. We have if you SPX here as a red Terran player, top right in position on Sniper Ridge, and dsaqwe as a Croatian purple Protoss here on the top bottom right in position. Oh my god, me in this position's always it's so easy, right?
Yes.
Top right, bottom left, top left. It's not really hard, but for some reason I can't get it out of my mouth straight.
I did hear from somebody that when you're a child, the last thing that you learn is actually what's left and what's right. So.
Okay, so that comforts me.
So in a way that's kind of like the most difficult, the standard thing to learn, I think. So it makes sense.
Thank you. It's really comforting to me that that's the last thing that a 6-year-old one learns.
Yeah, well, what I'm trying to say is that it might be more complex sometimes than most people will give it credit to, but...
Yeah, I understand. You told me high level here. You did show me high level. But I remember it.
Okay. So one of the reason why I actually think this is going to be quite cool is because SPX showed against Gem that he does know how to play this matchup. Like, yes. Really well. And dsaqwe, I would say... I mean, I've seen him play a lot of times, and every time I see him play, I think, oh, he's making these like weird small mistakes that, you know, I would expect very good players to not make, but goes through with it anyway. Like, he still manages to get things done. So in a way, it seems like these are rather similar styles. That's why I really want to see how it goes, and especially if it goes to the later stage of the game.
Yeah, one tendency that dsaqwe sometimes displays to me is that he tries to go for the long games, for the grindy games, more often than not. Can be very defensive if he wants to. Play the passive game really well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in PvT that often translates to the Protoss waiting, you know, for the Terran to attack, taking all the maps, taking all the expansions. And
well, I would say that on Sniper Ridge, since you have you have the Regis that can give you a little bit of extra coverage against the push. That might be something important. Maybe, we'll see. Oh.
Yeah, it could be, sure.
Scouting the middle first for dsaqwe, pretty interesting. I do actually like that. I mean, Barracks Depot builds are notoriously difficult to stop if the Terran knows how to execute them properly. So it does make quite a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't really hurt. It's the scouting timing to check the middle for proxies. Obviously, it's a bit later here, but it's okay.
Yeah, interestingly enough, SPX again does this kind of interesting style of allowing his barracks and his depot to be close enough to the factory that if this would be some kind of a zealot poke, it would be relatively difficult to snipe the SCV from the factory without taking some damage. So
yeah, he's pretty well set up for that. The 2 supply depots, and he can walk all his marines in and out. Factory is really close, like you said.
Yeah, and even some eventually an SCV or 2 can block something, so yeah.
And 2 marines here on the high ground. Scare the goon away. I like that. By SPX. Smart move.
SPX does have to be quite careful, because if he takes some damage to those marines and they're really low on HP, that is actually like most of your tanking for the tank and the vultures eventually that come up later. So taking damage on those marines early on might be something dangerous, although he's still making marines, which is actually something I quite like. Even if it actually slows down a little bit your expansion, it pretty much makes you safe against normal attacks.
Well, he wants to have his 6 marines for his standard FD build here, so guess he's gonna get him. Yeah, that's 6 marines, and here goes the FD push. What you said about the goons is true. He did only take shield damage though. He does have less shield on that goon now. It's the second goon in the back, as you can see. It's on 52 shields here, so it can factor in, but I don't think it's too big here.
Oh.
Engages here oh, okay, no, now he has the range finished.
Okay, it's interesting that SPX is going through the other choke. I do agree with that. Like, that's a smart move, definitely. Oh, and the vulture is actually trying to go around to. Wow, it's separating like the army into two positions. Oh, the dsaqwe reacts perfectly to this. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, he has to go back. Can't
Yeah.
chase it. If you chase it, you get cut off by the second vulture laying mines or whatever. That's really bad. Now he has the ridge. That's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
He's kiting back, taking the mine out. Very important always to take the mines out actually, because they give. There's a mine in the back. That's really what. Wow, that's really good for SPX here. He didn't lose a unit to the mine, but here's two vultures coming in. Is one goon about to pop out?
But there's no mines anymore. If there were mines on those vultures, then that would be really dangerous.
Yeah, that would be really bad. And
It's still bad.
Kills here. Had 3 kills, and that's 4. And the tank is still poking at the front, so he has to be careful on 2 fronts.
Ooh.
Oh, and that's 5 kills, I think.
That's a lot of damage, actually. 20 probes against 27 SCVs.
Yeah. When you defend against this kind of FD push, dsaqwe did it very good actually, and he kited back with his dragoons all the time. But you never want the vultures to surround and get in your back. That's the one thing you gotta avoid, because it becomes very messy when you retreat and run into the mine, which he avoided nicely, or if the vultures go into your main base and kill probes. And that's what happened.
I mean, I still think that the dsaqwe can definitely like bounce back from this, since his Nexus was quite earlier. And also there's another thing, that because the second factory is not even yet finished, another attack or push or something like that is probably not going to come like really early. So the dsaqwe can't even take another base right now.
It's certainly not coming. And I think SPX CC is a bit late. When I clicked on it, I expected it to be finished.
Yeah.
After the push ended, and it was close to done, but not really done. So it's a bit late here. Nothing too bad. Economically, both players are. Yeah, I mean SPX is a bit ahead. I expect that to equalize in the course of the game.
Oh, the first observer is coming up. If it does to the turret, that's really bad. Okay. So the dsaqwe does react to it. Now, for those of you who don't play Protoss or don't know exactly how this works, the first observer is probably the most important one, because it wants to get at least the information of either when the push is coming or what's in the main. And the main reason for that is you have to react differently depending on how many factories the Terran puts down, and you also want to know if the army is moving out so that you can try to intercept it.
Yeah, like he does here. And the observer is following the push. Ideally, you have one observer in the main and one at the front to see their factory count and to see the push coming. It does see a very early, very aggressive push coming here. I'm not sure if I totally agree. The unit count for dsaqwe is good. It's 11 goons. He's holding the high ground here. Yes, of course, to retreat here, but he's buying time. And is he getting a shuttle? He should, because he's getting zealots already.
I don't know. I mean, the dsaqwe definitely wants to crush this before he takes a third, which makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
But
Settle for that.
I mean, in a way, if he's constantly making units, he could actually walk around with these dragoons and go for the natural of the Terran, because there wouldn't be like usually you don't reinforce with tanks this kind of push. Or if you do, you have very low tank production, so these dragoons could like go definitely start killing things, especially if
but then you have vultures in your main.
Yeah, only if you're constantly like producing units, so you still have a decent amount of other units that you can rely on.
What a Protoss player often does is he moves a part of his units around to catch the reinforcements coming. Yeah, but the shuttle is out here. The village should be loaded in now. Yeah, he does. Speed is almost done for the zealots.
Oh, that's big.
For third base as a reaction to the aggressive play of SPX here. Makes sense. Where's the shuttle?
It's going around to hit the tanks.
So it doesn't take too much hits here. There's 4 Marines in the bunker. Oh, just 2. Okay. And 1 turret up.
And a second about to finish, so...
What's he doing?
I understand that
Maybe.
the dsaqwe doesn't want to drop on these tanks because
Oh,
if
he's waiting for the leg speed.
and also if
He'll
it
go with leg
fails,
speed.
if that fails, that zealot's drop, he will also lose the shuttle. That means no way to break this. So I understand that the dsaqwe is basically going to wait for as long as possible until he actually has to move.
Yeah, that's right. He's getting another round of zealots here, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Leg speed is finished. Here he goes. Drops.
2 zealots, but the mines actually do decent
Mine
damage.
Very good. But 2 tanks survive. It's gonna be very hard for the dsaqwe to reach those. Should move back.
Yeah, he doesn't actually need to keep the pressure up. Like, there's no tank reinforcements yet, so
Exactly.
There's
It's
no-
clear that there's, you know, no real tank reinforcements coming, no big blob,
yeah.
and this Nexus is not under fire. So I mean, this 2 tanks don't really annoy him here. He even is in a position to clear the 3rd base location if he wants to do that.
Ah,
But try to sneak by.
yeah, but good reaction timing by dsaqwe. He still controls that. And 5 gates on 2, and also he is getting the Arbiter tech. So, interestingly enough, dsaqwe decided that he's going to really wait with his 3rd.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, seeing how strong SPX is trying to push.
Yeah, it makes sense, of course. I mean, normally you get the 3rd base, and then you get the leg speed, and you know the other yada 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 template, arbiter tech. But in this case, he got it first, and he also is getting the arbiter first, just because SPX is pushing so aggressively. Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that tank? Oh, okay. I was worried about it. It's still not that many tanks. If we look at the dsaqwe's army, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So,
Yeah.
with 3 tanks, that's not too much. Okay,
No,
4th,
not
5th already coming up. Okay, now it's starting to look bad because the dsaqwe, I mean, he does want to eventually break this, but I think that he's smartly just slowly trying to not allow any good move forward with the containment. Okay, there we go with some
Now
zealots.
he's going for it, and there's a lot of zealots. Not
A
enough
lot.
mines here, really,
And not enough vultures either.
Wow, all the tanks will go down. Yeah, I was about to say that I'm a bit worried here for SPX being quite all in on his 2 base 6 facts push.
And it wasn't even a 6-fact, like it started with a 2-fact, then it moved to a 4-fact, then eventually it moved to a 6-fact. So it was like a continuous improvement in his push, but for so long there were just 2 tanks that I was wondering, where are the rest of his tanks?
Yeah.
Now, at this point, although the dsaqwe does have like a good chance to break this, we have to remember that the supplies are extremely close, like, which kind of surprises me. Where is that supply? It's like in SCVs mostly.
Uh-huh. He's actually ahead in SCVs quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's 47 to 33. But then, the dsaqwe, he did kill the main push here, and I don't think he's really worried about Terran pushing him too hard after killing it. So
No.
he can just get all the probes that he wants right now.
Yeah. And
He
he's
does have an arbiter.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, you already this was in. I mean, SPX in the game that he played against Gem 5 managed to do a lot of damage early on, and this game wasn't the case. So
Yeah.
it seems like, I mean, he's taking a 3rd now, and considering that he has actually a lot of SCVs, if that Arbiter doesn't do anything for, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe, then he can actually bounce back from this. As I said, the supplies aren't really that different. But the problem is, I don't actually think that the dsaqwe is just going to be like standing there and doing nothing.
No. The dsaqwe should get some more probes, I think. He's at 41. He's not hitting his probe. Ah, there we go. Okay.
So the Arbiter is flying around, trying to maybe... I would assume it's a recall, because you wouldn't usually go that way if you're not thinking about that.
Yeah, normally you go for status first, but then it would make no sense to fly there. So I agree with you. Should be a recall.
Okay, now the setup at the ridge that has SPX is actually starting to look really strong. But if there is a recall, that's not going to really matter.
Yeah, he has to forfeit that strong position. mainly took that to get his third going.
And we do see the army actually getting together, so I assume that recall is researched already, just waiting for the energy.
Yeah, and dsaqwe on the other hand is slow to take a fourth base here. I mean, he knew that SPX was taking the third, so but he didn't know not really attempt to take a fourth base yet. I think one Zealot is clearing out the patrol the patrol voucher on the right hand.
Yeah, we see the Arbiter already like replacing itself to a better position. Also, an observer that seems to be flying a little bit late. I mean, there are no mines, but there's no really way that the dsaqwe could not. Although, if he recalls right now, and there's an army battling at his entrance.
Yeah, could be bad.
Yeah. Okay, so he does recall. Now, in a way, I still favor the dsaqwe because that push might kill the third. But if you lose all your production as a Terran, then is that really worth it?
Not really. I mean, as long as the Protoss can survive, he's quite okay, and he's sending nothing home. He doesn't really send tanks back, which he needs. Yeah, so the dsaqwe is just gonna kill his base here.
Yeah. I mean,
the third base is obviously forfeit here, and now he's scared. Scrubs was fighting the vultures. Very funny.
I mean, he's not going to run out of scans anytime soon, but he doesn't have the supply. He can't really build anything more, so...
And that's 1DT chasing the tanks back.
Oh.
Evacuating about now. And yeah, SPX is trying now to assemble some kind of an army here. But Protoss army did a lot of damage in his main base, getting the armory too. So no more upgrades. And yeah, he's just not running in the tank. Just focus on those Swedish supply depots.
Yeah.
Take them down.
I mean, it's 28 max. Scratch that. It's 20 max supply right now for SPX. So.
Yeah.
Like at this point.
Not really enough.
At this point, you just need to actually trade units against the Terran, and he's not going to be able to rebuild anything. So.
Exactly.
And another recall is going to go to the third. Oh. Okay, that's not the best recall, but no, that's actually
there's a lot of tanks in position, so it was an okay trade. But as you said, I mean, the dsaqwe can just trade the units.
He still has to be a little bit careful because the third is okay. The third, he's gonna take the third now. The reason why I thought about that is because if a lot of units were lost and there's still that minefield at the middle, then there is no way that you can actually push SPX, and he does have a lot of minerals to rebuild like some of his stuff, right? So
yeah, he does have a lot of minerals.
Oh, the Arbiter actually escapes in the main, so this still has some, like, it still could recall something else later, but it does need to be really careful. Just one shot from a Goliath and it's actually gonna die.
Yeah, I would just send it back right here.
Yep. Oh! Oh! It actually 1 HP Arbiter.
That was a miracle shield regeneration on the Arbiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but it looks pretty good for the dsaqwe. Getting this third base up again. A bit late, but it's getting it though. He's still trying to do some harassment here in the X main base, if you can call it like that, of SPX.
So that definitely, yeah. I mean, definitely the definitely the dsaqwe pretty much has this game in the bag. The only way that this could go change something is, I don't know, if the dsaqwe tried to run through the middle. Oh, another recall, and lost like everything to mines. But yeah, it's just gonna be recalling, and with that SPX, it's just gonna forfeit it.
Yeah, 4 control groups with the probes through the middle move command. That's the way to go. But otherwise, I don't see him losing that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty good, especially pretty good, like, patience by the dsaqwe to wait until he knows that he can actually push that location and take it. Okay, just a second, because I have to rejoin Hiccup.
Okay.